We're looking now at standard decimal notation with the idea of changing it to scientific notation. So let's look at this number, for instance, 3,000, say 100. This is in regular decimal notation. It has a decimal point on the right. And I'd like to change it so that it looks like a scientific notation with an n times 10 to the m power, where n obeys certain limits. Remember, n is supposed to be less than 10 and greater or equal to 1. Okay, so the idea here is to find two factors of 3,100 or 3,100s, if you want to say it that way. Okay, I need to find two factors. Two factors are numbers that when multiplied together gives me 3,100. To find a factor when you know one of the factors, we do that by dividing. For instance, suppose I'm looking for factors of 20 and I want the 20 to look like some number multiplied times 10. So since 10 goes evenly to 20, even if it didn't go into 20, I could still divide 10 into 20. So I take 20 and divide it by 10, and it gives me 2. So 2 is the number that when I multiply times 10 gives me 20. So that's the idea. What I want to do is find two numbers that when multiplied together gives me 3,100, where one of the numbers is a power of 10. Well, in this case, I want a 10. Let's start by looking for two numbers such that there is a number multiplied times 10 that will give me 3,100. So I divide by 10. So 3,100 divided by 10. It would go what? 3 times into 31, a remainder of 1, bring down a 0, it goes 1 time, a remainder of 0, bring down the last 0, and it goes 0 times. I found the other factor. The other factor is 310. So if I take 310 and multiply it times 10, it gives me 3,100. So is this a power of 10? Yes, this is a power of 10 because it's 10 raised to the 1 power. The problem is that 310 is not my n. My n has to be less than 10, and this is too big. So what I could do is maybe take 310 and divide it again by 10. So now I take 310 and divide it by 10. 10 goes into 30, 1, 3 times 10 is 30, and I have a remainder of 1, bring down the 0, then it goes 1 time. 1 times 10 is 10. So now I found another factor, 31. 31 times 10 gives me 310. So instead of writing 310, I could write 31 times 10. And then times the other 10 will give me a total of 3,100. Okay, but my 31 is still too big. It still doesn't fit within this range. So I will divide it by 10 again. Now I take 31 and divide it by 10. And it goes into 30. It goes into 31 3 times. 3 times 10 is 30. And this time I have a remainder of 1. So I will put a decimal point and add a 0. Bring down the 0 and then it goes 1 time. Don't forget to put your decimal point. 1 times 10 is 10 and it comes out even. So now I found another factor. I found 3.1 for 31. So now instead of writing 31, I can put 3.1 times 10. Then times the second 10, and then times the very first 10. So Here I have 3.1. Now is 3.1 something closer to what I want? Yes, because 3.1 is bigger than 1 and less than 10. 3 is less than 10, so 3.1 is also less than 10. So now I can rewrite this expression. Instead of writing 10 times 10 times 10, I can write 1 power of 10. I can write 10 to the third power. And here is my scientific notation. 3,100 then becomes 3.1 times 10 to the third power. Okay, now I'd like to explain this in Spanish, so if you bear with me. Queremos ahora cambiar la notación decimal regular típica a notación científica. Para hacer eso, tenemos que encontrar dos números que al multiplicarse me den 3100. Uno de los números quiero que sea menor que 10, pero más grande que el 1. Y el otro quiero que sea una potencia del 10. Para encontrar factores, estos son factores. Lo hago con una división. Por ejemplo, si quiero encontrar factores del 20 y quiero que uno sea 10, entonces divido el 20 entre 10 y me da el 2. 2 por 10 es 20. So 2 por 10 me sale que es 20. Estos son factores del 20. Lo mismo puedo hacer con este número. Puedo dividirlo con un 10. So al dividir con un 10 me sale 310. Ahora entonces puedo escribir que 3100 es 310 multiplicado por 10 a la potencia 1. El problema es que el 310 no está en notación científica porque se pasa del 10. Entonces lo divido de vuelta con un 10 y ahora me da 31. Ahora puedo escribir 31 por 10 en vez de 310 y luego por el otro 10 que ya tenía. Okay, pero el 31 todavía está muy grande. Entonces lo divido de vuelta con el 10 y esta vez me sale 3.1. Me sale 3 primero porque el 10 en el 31 cabe 3 veces, pero me sobra 1. Le pongo punto, lo subo para arriba y bajo un 0. Ahora me da 1. De aquí saqué 3.1 por 10, que es lo mismo que si fuera 31. Entonces ahora le pongo 3.1 por 10 por 10 por 10. De aquí puedo poner esto, en vez de poner 10 por 10 por 10, pongo 10 a la potencia 3. Entonces me sale 3.1 por 10 a la potencia 3. Y esa es la notación científica. Okay, so now let's just do one more example. We were dividing by 10 in the last problem. But dividing by 10 is the same as moving the point to the right. So I could find a short way of doing this problem instead of repeatedly dividing by 10 and dividing by 10. I can divide by 10 simply by moving the point to the left. So here is my decimal point. I will move my decimal point to the left 1 place, 2 places, 3 places. I don't want to go any further than this place because I want my n to be less than 10, to be less than 10 but greater than 1. If I move it too far, it would become less than 1. So then I would end up with 3.1 now times 10, and this number of places that I move the point indicates the exponent for the 10. It would be 3. Okay, so let me explain this in Spanish now. Lo que hicimos aquí en este problema fue repetidamente dividir con el 10, pero eso se toma mucho tiempo. Lo más fácil sería de nada más correr el punto a la izquierda. Siempre que dividimos con un 10 es lo mismo que mover el punto a la izquierda. Aquí lo voy a mover 3 lugares para que llegue al 3.1. No quiero que se pase de 3.1 porque si lo cambio hasta al último lugar, entonces me da un número que es menos de 1. Como ya vimos, la n tiene que estar en medio del 1 y el 10. So de ahí voy a sacar el 3.1 y luego el número de lugares que corría el punto me da el exponente del 10. Okay. So in general, when you have a number that you need to change to scientific notation, a big number. So since we're looking at numbers that are big, this would be numbers bigger than 1. We move the point to the left. Move the point to the left. The number of places that are required to create my n. So we move it all the way to almost the end of the number, but not quite. To the one place before the end of the number. Or we have to get one non-zero digit, let me see, to get a one non-zero digit to the left of zero. I mean, to the left of the point, I'm sorry. To the left of the point. So let's look at an example. For instance, if I have 2, 5, 8, 0, 0, 0, 0. So what I want to do is move my decimal point. My decimal point will be always at the end. Remember, your decimal point is always on the far right. From that location, I'm going to move it as many places as I need to create my n, and I want my n to have one non-zero digit to the left. So here is my one non-zero digit. This is a 2, which is not 0. So I'm going to end up with 2.58. So now this becomes 2.58 times 10. So how many places was it that I moved the point? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my exponent will be 6. Ok, so aquí estaba explicando que esta regla que escribí aquí era de si el número es mayor de un 1, es más grande que el 1, mover el punto a la izquierda para que nos quede una cifra que no es 0 a la izquierda del punto. So, entonces quiero mover el punto a la izquierda hasta llegar aquí, porque aquí me da una cifra antes, digo una cifra a la izquierda que no es 0. Ok, so, entonces me va a quedar esto y cuento los números de lugares para que me dé el exponente. Alright, now we're gonna move on to the next video.